So in this video, I want to talk about New York City and why I like it. So what to do, what to avoid, where to stay, where to park for free. Yes, you can actually park for free in New York City. What to eat and what makes the city so great. So in my opinion, New York City is one of the best developed cities to explore simply because it is so alive. There's just so much to discover in terms of restaurants, stores, coffee shops, parks, activities, culture, museums, historical monuments. Just always so much people walking around. You never get bored. But personally, my favorite thing in New York City is Central Park by far, without a doubt. Nothing comes close. And it's probably the biggest park in the world. That's if Dubai didn't build one. I would have to check, but definitely Central Park. I love it because it never ends, so you never get bored. There's so much to do and see. There's always a lot of people playing sports or just hanging around. So if you're a social person, it's just a great environment. You can join people playing soccer or basketball or other sports. You can skate, you can just sit down on the grass and relax and enjoy the sun, the view of the big green space with high buildings in the background. You'll have people practicing for something or working out or private shows to collect money or just so many things going on, keeping you busy and entertained. And all that while enjoying the fresh air and the amazing views of the skyline. You can also go canoeing, once again I repeat, while enjoying the beautiful sunset's reflection on the lake and the beautiful building in the background. It's a great place to take breathtaking pictures. You'll see that there's a lot of professional photographers taking pictures or wedding pictures or album pictures. It's just a great environment for feeding your soul. I also love walking around and discovering the streets of New York City. The streets are so long and there are quite a few of them. Every area has its places to discover. So New York City or Manhattan will be divided into, you'll have Times Square, of course, you'll have Midtown, you'll have Central Park or the upper level, or you'll have Chelsea, you'll have Hell's Kitchen, you'll have Chinatown, you'll have Wall Street. So all these areas are great to discover. They all have their own special touch. Every block has a restaurant that you should try or a store that you should go into. Shopping is also great near Chinatown or Lower Fifth Avenue. So many stores, so many choices. You also have Macy's, which has 10 floors of shopping with all the brands and sometimes great clearances. So if you don't want to go outside, you just go into Macy's. You can spend all day in there, almost 3 hours per floor. And they have a food court downstairs, and almost every floor has a Starbucks or somewhere to sit or something to eat or drink. And obviously for people who love brands and designer names, if you don't have a budget, then you have Fifth Avenue, where you can find all the biggest names, and the stores are so big. So that's another great thing about New York, is that everything is just bigger in New York. The retail stores, the restaurants, coffee shops, the portions. You always have more choices, different variety. And if you're gonna be in New York City, don't forget to go to Woodbury Outlets, which is an hour away from Manhattan, where you can find brand names at pretty good prices if they have deals. And make sure to download the app, because you can get additional discounts from the app. Because if you don't tell them about the discounts on the app, the cashier or the sales rep is not gonna add the discount. So going back to New York City, something else I like about New York is the fact that the streets are numbered. So it's easy to get around in New York City without even using a phone or GPS, because of the way the streets are numbered. So it's perfect for walking and people who take public transportation or the subway. So one thing I don't like about New York is that because there's a lot of people, sometimes it's hard to get around, especially in the touristic areas like Times Square or Broadway Street or 7th Avenue. And the streets aren't always so clean. You can find garbage lying around or on a windy day, garbage flying around. And sometimes there's so much construction, so like a nice sidewalk will be blocked because of construction. And if you try driving inside Manhattan, sometimes it could take you 2 hours just to cross two or three blocks, simply because the car in front isn't moving, wants to turn, and everyone's just waiting behind, or there's construction. It's really ridiculous driving inside Manhattan on busy days. So speaking of restaurants, so there's this great place I like on 17th Street, so it's pretty far from Times Square. So 17th Street and 9th Avenue is called Papa Kebab. They make delicious Turkish inspired cuisine sandwiches. It's well priced, the meat is just greatly marinated, and the sandwiches are filling with huge chunks of meat or chicken. So just in general, to truly discover New York City, you need to walk away from Times Square. Times Square is really for tourists, but it's not the true New York. If you want the true New York, you just have to discover the streets away from Times Square, south of Manhattan, east and west, and north, of course, Central Park and above. So some activities that I definitely recommend to do in New York City. Obviously, number one is Central Park. Just take one whole day just to spend at Central Park. Make sure it's a sunny day, of course. That park is so huge, you'll never finish the whole park, but just the first half is really good enough. There's this area where it's a pretty huge green space where everyone's just lying around or doing something, and with the view in the background, with the buildings in the background, it's just amazing. And if you like playing sports, you could join anyone either playing soccer, basketball, or frisbee, whatever. You could go biking, you could go running. If you have kids, you could bring them to the park. Just so many things to do there. So in addition to Central Park, another activity I recommend is just walking the streets of New York. So 9th Avenue, 8th Avenue, 7th, 6th, and 5th Avenue, and starting from Central Park or mid Central Park and down. Just try to walk as much as you can. That's the best way to discover New York. And if you can't walk, take the subway so you can discover the different areas in New York. Definitely take a cruise around Manhattan Island, so to get like a broad overview of the island and get a bit of explanation from the tour guide at the same time. Also take a bus tour of Manhattan. So these two are definitely touristic activities, but I think it's worth doing because it gives you a good overview of New York City. Definitely shopping in Chinatown. You can find some good deals, lots of choices. Just a different shopping experience. Definitely try Big Bro's Pizza, $1 a slice, delicious. And since you're in New York, either in Brooklyn or in New Jersey, definitely go to Cheesecake Factory. So I'm from Canada, and we don't have Cheesecake Factory, so that's definitely a must when you go to New York City. Now, if you go to NBC Studios, sometimes you'll find people trying to recruit you to be an audience member for the Tonight Show. So either for the rehearsal show or the actual show. So I think the earlier you go, the better chance you have, of course, of being on the actual show. But if you go around 12 p.m., 1 p.m., you can be on the rehearsal. So definitely go to NBC Studios, the souvenir shop, and ask around, see what you have to do to get on the to become a member of the audience on the Tonight Show. It's definitely worth it. Definitely a good experience. And obviously take the Rockefeller Center tour. Go up the Empire State Building. The lineups for that is pretty long, so you need to choose the right time. Usually either late at night or early morning. If not, there's a good substitute, which is Top of the Rock, which pretty much gives you the same view or even better of New York City and less of a lineup. You can go bar hopping in Lower Manhattan. So definitely New York after 10 is very alive, especially in the bar areas. So if you enjoy the bar environment, definitely check it out. Playing chess at Union Square Park, or at least watching people play chess at the Union Square Park, is also a great experience of New York. Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. Now that's not exclusive to New York, but the one in New York is pretty nice because of the statue, I guess, that they put and the layout. It's actually pretty impressive how close they look to the reality. At some point, they look so close to the reality that at some point you're gonna think that real people actually are just wax statues. And of course, you have to visit Times Square. I would say that's just maybe one time, just to see the lights at night that come from all the ads and the billboards. It's just crazy how strong the lights are. It lights up the whole area. So the best way to do all these activities is with the City Pass, the New York City Pass, which is a pass you can get either from the website or from Costco, either Costco.ca or Costco.com. What's great about these passes is, for example, you pay $250 and that pass lets you do all the activities in New York for 3 days. So you have 3 days to do as many activities as you want for $250. Individually, these activities are going to cost you on average $30 per activity. So in order to get your money's worth, you need to do at least 3 activities per day. So if you don't see yourself organized enough, or you don't want to be under the pressure to meet a certain deadline and make sure you reach a certain activity before it closes, just so you can get your money's worth, then maybe the city pass is not for you. But if you're someone who's organized and is willing to move around quick enough to reach the different activities, then definitely the city pass is for you. If you're not going to get the city pass and you're going to pay for the activities individually, sometimes there's people standing outside near the activities offering coupons, either $5 or $10 off a particular activity. So try to look for them before you go straight to the activity and pay full price. Remember, keep in mind, you're going to need 1 whole day just for Central Park. So that day you're not going to be doing pretty much any activities with the city pass. So where to stay when traveling to New York City? So if money is an issue like most of us, you can get lucky and find a hotel in Manhattan under $200 a night, depending on the season, of course. The websites that I use is Booking.com and Hotels Combined. The links will be in the description below the video. And you can also use AirBNB, which you can find the link, of course, at the bottom of the video. Now, if you end up finding a good deal in New York City, so you have another problem, which is the parking. Parking can cost you $55 a night in New York City, so it's definitely worth looking for free parking. So you can actually park for free in New York City between 9th and 11th Avenue, between 52nd and 42nd Street. If I make a square in the area that you can park for free in New York City, it'll be 52nd Street, 9th Avenue, 42nd Street, 11th Avenue. So in that area you can find free parking. You just have to make sure of the signs. So for example, you can find the sign that says no parking on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So you can actually park all week except for 1 hour and a half. So that's the only time that if you happen to be there at that time, you're just gonna have to move your car to the other side or on another street for 1 hour and a half. Let's say you're visiting from Wednesday to Saturday, well then that parking sign doesn't even concern you. So you can actually park your car for free without moving it once during your stay. So another thing you can do regarding parking is you can park your car in Jersey City near a subway station and simply take a 20-minute subway ride to the city. Obviously make sure that the parking signs allow for parking during the times you plan on leaving your car parked. So that's another option. And also you could stay obviously outside of the city, so you can stay in New Jersey. There's some great hotels in New Jersey to stay in. The Hyatt, for example, and the Westin in Jersey City are amazing and definitely worth it. They have amazing views and great service, great lobbies. My favorite though is the Hyatt because it has an amazing view of New York City because it's right on the water, and they're both a few minutes away from a subway station. So yeah, for sure New York City is a definitely must visit city, but the best way to experience it, in my opinion, is to stay away from the activities destined to tourists. It's best to discover it by just walking the streets and hanging out in Central Park. So expect to walk easily 6 hours a day, or hop on and off the subway to get around the island and truly explore every area of Manhattan. So enjoy the rest of the video with the music in the background. Any input, leave them in the comments below. If you like my video, obviously like it, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.
There's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are